Can an iPad replace a PC? Many people have this question. I already have an iPad. Do I still need to buy a laptop or a PC? Or the other way around, if I already have a PC, do I still need an iPad? In reality, whether an iPad can replace a PC doesn't depend on the device itself, but on what you actually do with it. In this video, I'll walk you through 6 real-world scenarios and share some interesting advanced tips to help you decide whether an iPad can truly become your main device. Scenario 1. Document editing and light office work. This is probably the most common scenario for most people: editing documents. Writing in Word, creating spreadsheets, doing simple data analysis, writing proposals, or finishing assignments. If you pair your iPad with a keyboard, such as this ESR Magic Keyboard style case, honestly, about 70% of light office work can be handled by an iPad. Split screen research, copy and paste, and formatting adjustments are all easy to do. If you want an experience closer to the desktop version, you can open the Office 365 web version in the Edge browser. Then you'll notice that both the Office UI and the overall workflow are almost identical to the desktop version, and you can complete nearly 90% of typical light office work this way. However, when you need to switch between multiple windows frequently or compare several Excel sheets side by side, the iPad's window management is still not as flexible as a Mac. And when you need to create large documents or work with more complex spreadsheets, the iPad still has some performance limitations. My conclusion is simple. For light office work, the iPad can completely replace a PC. But for heavy spreadsheet work, a laptop or PC is still more efficient. Scenario 2. Python programming. This scenario may sound a bit niche, but many people are curious about it. Can you code on an iPad? The answer is yes. If you want to do Python programming on an iPad, you can use an app called Pitter. It allows you to edit and run code locally on the iPad, and it also supports installing third-party libraries. For data analysis, you can use another app called Carnez. It provides an experience very close to Jupyter Notebook, and it also allows you to directly access local files on your iPad. But the problem is this: when your projects become larger, when you need multi-device debugging, or when you need to compile large programs locally, the iPad starts to feel limited. My judgment is simple. For learning programming or doing lightweight development, it works. But for professional development, I wouldn't recommend relying only on an iPad. Scenario 3. Video editing. If you're editing short videos, vlogs, or doing simple color grading, there are many editing apps on iPad that can handle the job easily. If you want more professional video editing capabilities, whether it's LumaFusion, DaVinci Resolve, or Final Cut Pro for iPad, they are all capable of handling demanding projects. Especially Final Cut Pro. After Apple introduced the Creator Bundle subscription model, the cost has become more accessible. Combined with Apple's native system integration, it can deliver an excellent editing experience. Compared to a PC, it even provides more precise touch control instead of relying on a mouse pointer. However, once you start editing long 4K videos with multi-track timelines, external drive footage, long rendering sessions, and more advanced effects and color grading, the efficiency gap becomes clear. The iPad can edit videos and it can be very powerful, but it's not ideal for long-term, high-intensity production work. If you're a content creator, I recommend using both an iPad and a PC. Scenario 4. Connecting to a projector. When you connect an iPad to a projector, you can directly present Keynote or PowerPoint, and it's extremely convenient. If the projector does not support a USB-C connection, you can simply use an adapter to connect through HDMI. You don't need to bring a laptop, and you don't need to wait for the system to boot. Just open your iPad and start presenting, and with Pencil, you can annotate directly on the screen. In presentation scenarios, the iPad can actually be even better than a PC. My judgment is simple. For presentations, the iPad can completely replace a PC, and it even feels more elegant. Scenario 5. Online classes. When you connect your iPad to an external display, you can watch a course on one screen while taking notes on the other. If you don't have an external monitor, you can also switch the video into picture-in-picture mode on the screen and open a note-taking app at the same time. Split screen and multitasking on iPad are already quite mature. For students, doing homework, researching information, and taking notes can actually feel more focused on an iPad. However, if you need to write long academic papers, adjust complex formatting, or type for long periods of time, a laptop or PC is still more comfortable. My conclusion is this: for studying, the iPad is an excellent choice, especially for online learning and paperless note-taking. Scenario 6. Video meetings. Modern iPads now feature a landscape front camera, and that actually matters. You no longer need to tilt your head during meetings. Connect a keyboard, open Zoom or Teams, and the iPad can easily become a meeting terminal. And in many cases, its camera quality is even better than that of many laptops. More importantly, it's extremely portable, and you can open your iPad and join a meeting from anywhere. So in meeting scenarios, the iPad can completely replace a PC. Now that we've gone through 6 scenarios, let's return to the original question. Can an iPad replace a PC? The answer is simple. For some people, yes, and for others, no. If you are a student, a light office user, or someone who works on the go, an iPad might already be enough. But if you are a professional developer, a heavy video creator, or someone working with complex data, a PC is still your primary production tool. The iPad is more like a high-performance mobile device. It can do many things, but it isn't designed to do everything.